Good afternoon. Welcome to Mays High School and Atlanta Public Schools, and welcome to the third annual Atlanta Public Schools Football Media Day. We're very excited for you to be here today. We're very excited to hear from our coaches, our players. This isn't the start. You started back in November, December, in preparation for this moment. Practice starts officially August 1st. Acclimatization starts tomorrow. But you've done a lot of work to get to this point. We feel like that we are further along and more competitive than we have ever been. Expectations are high, and that's a good thing. It's a great thing, in fact. So we're excited that you're here. We're excited that you get the opportunity to listen, to see what's going on across the system. You'll make friendships today that you'll have a lifetime, and that's the fun part. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Jasper Jewell, Program Manager of High Schools, to continue the program. Jasper.
Thank you, Jeff. Good afternoon, everyone. Our guest speaker today is one of our very own, Mr. Jamal Lewis. Just to give you a little brief background on Jamal Lewis. Jamal attended Douglas High School in Atlanta, Georgia, where he originally played fullback after being switched over to the running back position. In high school, he was highly recruited by Alabama, LSU, Michigan, Nebraska, Notre Dame, Ohio State, but was never recruited by the University of Georgia. Jamal decided to sign a letter of intent with the Tennessee Volunteers, where he played with current Denver Broncos quarterback Peyton Manning. As a freshman in 1997, he rushed for over 1,364 yards and 7 touchdowns. He was named first team All-American by Sporting News and second team All-SEC by the Associated Press. In 1998, Jamal helped Tennessee win the BCS National Championship title. The Volunteers defeated Florida State Seminoles 23-16 in the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl. He left Tennessee after his junior year, but in those 3 years, he rushed for 2,677 yards and accounted for 3,161 all-purpose yards. Jamal was drafted by the Baltimore Ravens in the first round, 5th pick overall, 2000 NFL draft. In his rookie season, he rushed for over 1,300 yards. He is currently the Ravens' all-time leading rusher with 7,801, gaining 10,607 career yards and scoring 58 touchdowns. Perhaps one of his greatest accomplishments was winning the Super Bowl in 2001, where the Ravens defeated the New York Giants. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Jamal Lewis.
Appreciate it. That was a great introduction. I felt that was a lot. What I basically want to talk to you guys about today mainly is just success, man. Success, how you handle it, how you achieve it, and basically just not being content, with your abilities and where you're at. And, I've been playing football since I was 8 years old. Grew up in Adamsville. Went to Urshan Middle School. I went to Douglas High School. And, I never dreamed or even thought that I would actually be a professional football player. My dad took me out and basically just said, look, you got to do something. You got to get out this house and sign me up at Adamsville Rec. And ever since then, I played all sports. I did pretty much everything, but football kind of stuck with me. I really didn't care to play football that much, but at the same time, it was a point where I felt like, hey, if I'm going to do it, I need to be good at it. So what am I going to do to make sure by me being out here on the field, I'm making the best use of my time? And, end up, like you said, playing fullback at Douglas, starting out. And I think I had probably over 1,200 yards one year. And coach said, no, you're going to move to running back. And, I took it on well because my brother played running back. I knew the position. That's what I pretty much always wanted to play. And, it was just, what are you going to do different? And that's what my brother always asked me, what are you going to do different than everybody else and what everybody else is doing? You're training with the team and you're doing all of that, but if that's all you do, you're just going to maintain average and you're going to be just like everybody else. So it was all about just being successful at whatever I was doing. Playing this position, I never knew that I would be able to get a scholarship at it. I never really cared too much about getting a scholarship at it. I was just more concerned with getting done what I had to get done on the field in order to make me the best possible player I could be. If I did that, I kind of knew that whatever the abilities and the capabilities were of me going and getting a scholarship, hey, it'll happen. So, we didn't have social media. We didn't have that reach that you guys have now where you're able to reach out and let these coaches see what you have by highlight films and everything else. We didn't have that way to get exposure. The way we got exposure was doing your job on the field and working hard and making sure you had the grades. So when these coaches did come through, basically, hey, they knew what they was coming to see, and we was bringing them in. Georgia didn't recruit me. My coach wouldn't let Georgia even in our school at the time because they didn't recruit in the inner city because they said we weren't smart enough. But at the same time, I was smart enough. I was handling my books and making sure that I was taking the SAT. Took the SAT since I was in the 9th grade. I took it 6 times, but I didn't care as long as I got it done and I made the numbers to be accepted and to get my scholarship at the University of Tennessee. But you got to take advantage, man, of the opportunities and everything that's around you. You guys are given so much nowadays to the point where you got to really respect that and be appreciative of it. Because it's a lot of things that you guys have that, hey, we didn't have access to. The new schools, the big weight rooms, all of the good coaches and everything else. We had some of that, but we didn't have access to a lot of that. And recognizing those opportunities. I did go on unofficial visits up to Georgia when I was younger. But one of the things that stood out to me was one of the coaches in this room basically came in as a running back coach at Douglas High School. And, I was pretty much one of the best running backs probably in the country at the time. So I didn't want to do much, honestly. But one thing he did tell me, he said, one day in practice, he said, hey, man, ain't no prima donnas out here. And that made me say, hold on, who is this guy? But he played college football. And I was privileged that he was able to come into my life and really, instill that into me by taking me up to LSU and letting me go and experience that and be around a crowd of 80,000, close to 100,000 people. And seeing that, hey, I can be one of these guys. I have an opportunity to actually come to the LSU if I want to. But it was basically up to me. It was up to me. I had to make sure I had the grades so I could actually be able to go to a D1 school because I was capable of doing that. But I had to buckle down and recognize that that opportunity was there, and it was there for me. And around my sophomore or junior year, I started getting a lot of letters, bags of letters from schools and offers from schools. And I could actually answer these letters, and I could actually entertain them because I had the grades. And I could choose where I really wanted to go. Why? Because I had the grades, and I developed the talent on the field to be able to exercise that. But you have to recognize that, and it has to be a time in your life where you say, hey, look, I can do that. I can go on to be a professional athlete, or I can go on to be pretty much whatever I want to be. But when is that time? When are you going to wake up and understand that? That's the question. And that's what I had to ask myself a long time ago. When I saw my niece getting evicted out of her apartment and I had to go help at 15, 16 years old, I said I didn't never want that to happen to my niece again. And that's what stuck with me, and that's what drove me. So with your success and trying to attain more success, figure out what drives you and what's going to make you be a better person and what's going to make you hold on and develop that character that a lot of these scouts and coaches are looking for. Because if you can do that, you can put in the work on the field, and you can develop a good character where, guess what, everybody likes you, then you can go on and do whatever you really want to do. Not just on the football field, but in the business world as well. Because football is a means to the end. Football is here. What I've noticed since I retired, I played 10 years in the NFL. I've been retired almost 3 years now. But football was just a pedestal and a platform that I use now in my everyday life. And I use that, all the tendencies and everything that I took from that, leadership, hard work, sacrifice, dedication, all of this you have to have when you're going to play this sport. It's fun and games right now, but it turns into a business, regardless of how you look at it. It's going to turn into a business eventually. Even in college, it turns into a business, and you can learn that real fast because they want you to come in and play football, but you got to handle those books. When I got recruited, Rodney Garner came in and he said, you know what, football's going to take care of itself. You got to take care of the books so that you can go on and do everything that you want to do to accomplish here. So honestly, man, my whole thing, I'm not going to take long, but my whole thing is just recognize your opportunities and take advantage of them and find out what drives you and what's going to motivate you to get up in the morning, that's going to make you go out and get that extra workout, that's going to make you say, hey, I might not be doing good in this math class, but guess what? I can be good in this math class. So I need to get with the math teacher early, see if I can get some extra work, see if they can help me out. You got that. Because if you can do half the stuff that these coaches ask of you on the field, guess what? You can handle whatever they give to you in the school. So just, take that with you. I was one of you guys once before sitting in a room with the speaker up saying, hey, if I reach one of you, I feel like I've accomplished something, I did my job. At the end of the day, when I was out there, just like you are right now, I was that person saying that he must be talking to me because I'm going to take with me what he's saying. So I want each of you to be that one person, and that'll make a whole group, and go out and just do what you're supposed to do. Be the leaders at your school. Be the leaders in your neighborhood. Be a leader, period. Don't be a follower. And everything else will fall in place. But good luck to you guys this season. I know you guys want to battle it out against each other, but just remember what I said and just, recognize your opportunities and what's being put in front of you, and you'll ultimately succeed. That's it.
Thank you so much, Jamal, for those wonderful words of encouragement. All right. We're going to get started today. We're going to bring our coaches up as well as their players, and we'll give a brief outlook on off-season conditioning, 7-on-7, what we've done thus far in preparation for the season. Then we'll end with a little brief Q&A, just to ask a few questions so we can all be on the same page and familiarize ourselves with each and every program. First up, we're going to start in a little reverse order. We're going to bring Douglas Britton in North Atlanta High School up first. Coach.
Good afternoon. It's a privilege to be here. I want to thank the athletic department for putting this on. I think it's a great opportunity to get some of our young men some exposure that deserve it. And really, that's how these young men were selected. These 6 gentlemen were some of the leaders in our building and in our program, starting back specifically in December. Had some of the best attendance, attitude, and really the work ethic that we need at North Atlanta to take our program where we want it to be. So I'm going to first introduce them. I have number 88, Darius Peterson. He's a senior linebacker tight end. Number 72, Joel Maldonado, sophomore D-line O-line. Number 31, Oladi Faladi, senior linebacker running back. Number 50, D'Angelo Bowen, senior defensive lineman, offensive lineman. Number 34, Spencer Shelton, junior linebacker, running back. And then number 75, Dominique Jenkins, junior D-line, O-line. Like I said before, these are the guys that were selected by our coaches. that showed not only the ability, but the work ethic, the commitment, and kind of everything that we need to be successful at North Atlanta. We are excited about the 2013 season. We hope to be kind of one of the surprise teams in what I feel is the toughest region in the state by far. We just go against top competition week in, week out. And I think these young men are putting us in a position where we can do a better job competing each week.
Coach, I understand you guys are in the middle of a transition from the old North Atlanta to the new North Atlanta. Tell me a little bit about how that transition is going with regards to practices, workouts, etc.
We're learning to be a little bit flexible. It is a absolutely beautiful facility that we're excited about getting into, but anything that's new, there's just a lot of hiccups to deal with at times, and that's some of the other things that the guys have shown and our parents have shown great resiliency in. If we need to make an adjustment in the schedule and stay at the old school for a little bit longer, or we need to work without a weight room for 2 weeks, even though it's not what we want to do, these guys have lived up to the challenge. So we're excited about the new facility, and we're just taking it, one step at a time.
Awesome. Coach Britton, North Atlanta, give him a hand. Next up, let's bring up Mr. Joshua Moore and the Best Academy Eagles.
Good afternoon. First off, I would like to introduce my kids, and just like Coach Britton said, these guys were selected because they laid that foundation, and these are the guys that proved that they were dedicated to the program and dedicated to what we were trying to instill with our team. I start off with number 18, sophomore, Robert Tucker. Number 10, senior, Rentavious Belcher. Number 52, junior, Darius Marshall. Number 1, sophomore, Osanu Allen. Number 2, a junior, Deshaun Waller. And number 9, senior, Christopher Seaborn. 71, junior, Tyler Gibson. Over at Best, everybody for the most part knows that last year was our inaugural season as far as being a full varsity program. We went 3-7, which, I wasn't all the way excited about, but it was pretty good, considering it was our first year ever participating as a varsity program. And the kids, they showed a lot of fight and a lot of dedication. And it showed, as far as with the teams we competed against and the respect that we got from the coaches that we had to play against. This offseason was a real big offseason for us. It started in November. As soon as the season ended, we gave them 2 weeks off, went right into the offseason. We had a pretty productive spring. But this summer was the biggest for us by far because this was our first summer that we were actually able to do 7-on-7 passing leagues. And we went out and we had a pretty good showing all summer in our passing leagues, especially considering it was our first time ever being able to do it. And so far, everything is headed in the right direction. I mean, the process is moving forward, and we're making good progress in what we're doing with our program. We look forward to having a real big season this year and look forward to signing our first class, our first graduating, our first senior class, signing some scholarships at the end of the year this year.
Coach, this is year 2 of playing in Region 4 AAA. You're blessed to have all of your returners coming back on both sides of the ball. How do you feel about this season coming up in terms of the season outlook and where you think that you could possibly finish in that region?
Well, it's definitely looking up. Like you say, we have everybody returning this year, so we didn't lose anyone. So we have that foundation already built in. Now we have a chance to build on it, and we're looking at potentially being into the playoffs this year. That's our goal. That's what we break on every year, every day when we get out of practice, and we're looking forward to being up the top of the region this year.
Coach Moore, Best Academy. Best of luck to you. Next up, we'll have Coach Darren Miles in the New Schools of Carver.
Good evening. I have with me, guys, 4 of our team captains that were just selected actually on Monday. And just like the rest of the coaches in here, when we select captains, we think about people that will be the face of the program in the community. That person will represent what the athletic program is all about, what the school is all about. And we do that based on peer selection. We have their teammates vote for them. And these young men were selected as captains. And what I'm going to do right now is have them introduce themselves. Then I'll come back and say a little bit about our off-season and et cetera.
How y'all doing? My name is Julian Kovar. I'm a rising senior, and I play cornerback.
Hey, I'm Quincy Bentley. I'm a rising senior. I play linebacker, strong safety, and tailback, and I'm looking forward to this season.
I'm Joseph Mosley. I play receiver, and I'm a rising senior.
I am Jordan Hogan. I play quarterback. Looking forward to the season.
Okay. This off season, just like Josh just mentioned, we started 2 weeks after the season. Also, we were fortunate enough last year to finish 9-2 overall, sub-region champions, and advance to the first round of the playoffs. But the way we tapped out in terms of loss, 17-14 at Dalton High School left a bitter taste in our mouth. So we gave the boys 2 weeks off and got back in the weight room. And right now we're practicing and lifting as if we've never won a game. As you listen to some of the coaches that come before me and those that will follow, you're going to see in the city of Atlanta, we have very, very good talent and great coaches. And because of that, we have to stay on top of our game from a workout standpoint, X and O standpoint, just to be competitive against each other before we even talk about facing someone on the outside. We started lifting and running in November. That transition to track season, which we pretty much require all of our skilled guys to do. Joseph Mosley up here, as a matter of fact, is a pole vaulter. So he advanced to the state in the pole vault. He also finished second in the region. You don't find too many guys pole vaulting like that. So we know he's not afraid to catch any passes across the middle because he's higher in the air than any of us would imagine unless we're flying. Jordan, not only that, but Joseph is an outstanding wide receiver for us. He caught 25 passes last year, scored 3 touchdowns, and as far as receiver goes, and we have 3 returning receivers that's coming back from last year that are all pretty good. We have one in Tevish Clark that's really highly recruited, but Joseph by far is probably the purest receiver we have in terms of route running and catching the ball with his hands. Jordan transferred to us last year, actually last January from Winfield, Louisiana, looking for a home, wanted a better academic situation, and came in, picked up the offense, and learned pretty much as he went, and did an outstanding job for us, passing for over 1,400 yards and 12 touchdowns, as well as rushed for 6 touchdowns and another 150 yards, and was able to lead us to that 9-2 season. So this second year here, we think that he has a better grasp of the offense and going to do an even better job of leading us. Julian here is a 3-year returning starter at defensive back. He came in at 127 pounds, believe it or not, and was able to get on the field a little bit as a freshman, but he plays a lot bigger than what he looks. He's real passionate and emotional about the game, and the team pretty much feeds off of him. That's what we enjoy about him. You know, there's several times where we have to calm him down, which is great. Because as the coaches, we'd rather say, hold than sick him, and he's one of those type of guys. Right now he has about 2 scholarship offers, and not only that, he has over 1,400 on the SAT, first time taking it, and he's already qualified. Let's give him a hand for that, yeah. Okay. And the last young man, I saved the shortest for last. So, he's our little mighty Mike, as you say, one of the strongest guys on the team, one of the brightest guys on the team. He was able to get on the field as a sophomore because of his intelligence. He's already taken college courses at Georgia State because he's dual enrolled with Carver Early College and Georgia State. He scored a 15-20 on his first time taking the SAT, which is good, yeah. But on the football field, like he mentioned, he starts at middle linebacker for us, plays Sam linebacker. We're going to work him at some strong safety because we want him to have opportunity, to further his career in terms of playing football. So people will probably look at him more as a strong safety. And he's going to help us some on offense by playing fullback and some tailback. 7-on-7 wise, we were able to participate in several 7-on-7s, the Cam Newton 7-on-7, DTL Laura, that was sponsored by Jonathan Babineau and a couple other guys, in which we won. We also participated in the Fellowship of Christian Athletes football camp down in West Georgia, in which we actually had an opportunity to bond with the team, and the teammates got a chance to bond with each other, and the coaches as well. And we just pretty much did a lot of fellowshipping along with football. And that's pretty much it for our recap. Yeah.
Coach, in watching about 3 of your ball games last year, I nicknamed you guys the Cardiac Kids. You were down at second quarter, halftime, only to come racing back, which is a true testament to your off-season conditioning program as well. Graduating the number of individuals that you did that went on to sign Division I scholarships, etc., what is your charge in getting these guys motivated to replicate that season again?
Easy. We on offensive line, we lost 4 starters, only 1 returning. We lost an entire defensive front. We lost a strong safety. And what I'm telling some of the kids, what we've been telling them is that you were able to have a factor in the season that we had, but you didn't actually participate in the season that we had. That was their contribution. Your contribution was actually in practice and et cetera. But now you have an opportunity to leave your mark by having your face in the place and your physical skills on the field. So we want to see them carry on. You know, we were joking this morning with Coach Millen and et cetera about the offensive line. We're basically bringing up our whole JV offensive line to become varsity players, and those are sophomores and juniors. We only have pretty much one senior offensive lineman this year. We lost 2 outstanding running backs as well. But just try to keep them hungry. And like I mentioned earlier, we're actually practicing as if we've never won a game. With these young men, I mean, they're just as hungry as I am. And the rest of the team, we have to pretty much push them off the field afterwards. After workouts, they're always looking to do something extra. And in terms of the cardiac kids, hopefully, that won't be the issue this year because, I mean, it gave a lot of us heart attacks, so.
Excellent job, Coach Miles. Right. New Schools of Carver. Thank you. Next up, Frederick Douglass High School, coached by Rodney Cofield.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Coach Miller, I'm not understanding what Coach Miles talking about losing all them linemen. He had the largest lineman on JV last year. But I'm Rodney Cofield. This is my second year at the head coach at Douglass High School. And first of all, I'd like to thank Lakewood, Mr. Baird, Mr. Jew, and Ms. Williams for putting on this outstanding program to recognize these students and athletes in a positive light. We need to applaud that. That's real good. Last year was my first year at Douglass High School. It was a very challenging year for me, accepting the job in July without an off season, reporting to the school to find 8 players there and ready to play a season. It was very tough, because I'm thinking Douglass High School, I'm thinking Jamal Lewis, but Jamal Lewis left 10, 12 years ago when they used to come strong, hard, and respected. But I guarantee you that coming years, we'll bring that back, Jamal. We promise you that, okay? Now, the young men that stand behind me were chosen by their peers to represent based on their dedication, commitment, and hard work. So I'm going to allow them to come introduce themselves, class, and position.
Sherko Mackey, O-line, D-line.
Bonner Milford, O-line, D-line.
I'm Virgil B. Shea, middle linebacker and O-line.
Miko Winston, rising senior, O-line, D-line, middle linebacker.
So this year we had opportunity to have an off season, just like other coaches, right after the season. We had a 1-9 season, finished by 30 kids out there, but we're pretty much bringing everybody back. We only have 3 seniors on the team, but the most important thing, the kids showed they're dedicated, they work. They put the time in, had a good offseason, had a great offseason, and we're definitely looking forward to this year coming up.
Coach, regardless of what you're saying, I can see the tremendous growth in the program already. You guys broke into the win column last year for the first time in 3 years, so there has to be something that we can build off on. And What's your outlook going into Region 4 AAA play this year?
Well, with the commitment that we had on the offseason, we're better now without even playing a game than we was all last year because of the hard work that these young men and other kids put in. Like I say, we're not where we want to be, but we're definitely not where we used to be. You know, you would definitely see a different Astro football this year and definitely in the years to come.
Coach Cofield, Douglas High School. Thank you. Next up, Eric Williams and Maynard Holbrook Jackson High School.
Good evening. My name is Eric Williams, and I'm the head football coach at Maynard Holbrook Jackson High School. And I am also a proud person who also attended Atlanta Public Schools. I would like to introduce 3 of my 4 captains who are here today, who are also chosen by their peers: Ja'Cory Duffy, senior; Robert Walters, rising junior; and senior Jermaine Perkins. Last year we finished with a record of 6-4, which is the best record in Maynard Jackson history. Give us a pat on the back for that. I always jive around with a lot of my colleagues, and saying I guess it was just finally being able to get away from the private schools. The private schools have been a thorn in our side. It seems like every time we did the reclassification with the region, they always stuck us with the private schools, the Westminsters, the Lovetts, and the Blessed Trinities of the world. And being in a split region, we always finished in that 4th place, just out of the playoff every year. And last year we were able to move into Region 4 AAA. We went west. We're in a region with Best Academy, Douglas High School, along with schools like Central Carrollton, Rockmart, Callaway, schools I hadn't even heard of before. And we were able to go out and compete at a high level. So this year we're looking forward to bigger and better things. We finished tied for 3rd place in our region, but we were in a 3-way tie, and unfortunately we lost the wrong 2 games, so we finished just out of the playoffs. This year we lost a lot of players on our offensive and defensive side of the ball. We have only 3 returning starters on offense, and we have 2 returning starters on defense. But we're at Maynard Jackson High School. Therefore, that means a lot of our kids had a lot of playing time. Even though they weren't starters, they had a lot of opportunities to play. Because we all know at Maynard Jackson, you're not afforded the luxury of playing 2 or 3 years on B team. You play 1 year on B team, coming out of the 8th grade, and that next year in the 10th grade, you're on varsity for 3 years. So, we have a lot of great expectations. We have a quarterback. It will be somewhat of a challenge. He's never taken a snap of live football. Of course, he's had some great success during the summer in our 7-on-7 circuit. We had an opportunity to play against a lot of bigger schools such as Mays and Newton County, along with our brothers at Best Academy, as well as Carver. We're looking forward to great things and great expectations in this football season.
Coach, it has to be tough transitioning from a season where you went 6-4. You've lost a lot of starters on both sides of the football. You're also undergoing a massive construction and renovation of your building. How do you find balance in all of this and keep the players, your younger players, how do you keep them level and keep them focused on the goal at hand?
Well, that's a good question, Mr. Jewell, because I try to, keeping them level. I'm trying to keep myself level. It's like, it's so kind of chaotic. We're in a smaller building. We're in a middle school, but we had an increase in student body. So, it's kind of, everything is kind of tight. If it rains one day, we have to look forward to having to share the gym with the auxiliaries from the band and or the volleyball team. So everything is kind of tight, but what we do, we all just stick together and stay positive and keep a good perspective on everything.
Coach Eric Williams, Maynard Jackson High School. Coach Brandon Millen and Henry W. Grady High School.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And here again, I would like to also thank the Department of Athletics for putting on activity like this for these kids to be recognized. So few times that they get an opportunity to be single-handedly recognized on an event like this. I guess Jasper giving me that Godfather name because I'm probably the longest tenured coach in APS at this point. I've been at Grady since 1989. Been in the area, in the Midtown area, since 1986 when I started out at Inman Middle School. So been in one place, have enjoyed it. It's a great place to work, a great atmosphere, great kids. Just a little bit, want to make sure that our kids get an opportunity to introduce themselves before I talk about our program. They're going to come up and introduce themselves and talk about, just say their grade level and what position they play.
Malik Shannon, class of 2014, strong safety, outside linebacker, and wide receiver.
Quantavious Swanson, O-line, D-line, class of 2014.
Hey, my name is Ted Galanos, center, tackle, defensive end, and rising senior.
Isaiah Jenkins, senior quarterback at Grady High School.
Darian Shelton, rising senior, DB, and receiver.
Hakeem Todd, senior, running back and cornerback.
Ezekiel Chandler, rising senior, linebacker, fullback.
Xavier Walker, O-line, D-line, 2014.
Yeah, this group is seniors. All of them are seniors. They've been in the program for 4 years. These guys have worked really hard. The off season has been well. Last year, we finished 9-3. Lost a tough game in overtime down in Monroe area by 1 point. So that definitely has left a real bitter taste in our mouth, and these guys have been working really hard. Last year was a year also that in my entire career where we had so many injuries. I think we counted up, we had starters to miss over 30-something games, about 35 games last year. But, you know, what that did, it gave some young kids an opportunity to play, which is going to help us this year to be prepared for a tough region, because we got teams right here in the city that Washington and Carver and Therrell, those guys are a really good program that we're going to have to compete with in our region, and every game is going to be a challenge for us. But, you know, we're getting ready. This summer we participated in some 7-on-7s. We also had some camps that we held at Grady where we had some contact, which we thought that kind of put us ahead of the curve a little bit, we hope. But, you know, we're looking forward to this upcoming season, and hopefully then these young men, I just want to also acknowledge that they've been working hard. A lot of them have made sacrifices this year. They're going to be playing positions that they're not used to playing. So we've asked them to take on that challenge and to fill in those holes of those guys they left from last year. Thank you.
Coach, if my memory serves me correctly, these young men were freshmen when you had the quarterfinal appearance against Peach County. These guys also played last year in what I call one of the best high school football games I've seen in a long time. Overtime loss to Monroe area in the second round. How do you continue to build on that quarterfinal appearance, that second round appearance. How do you continue to build on that? And what is the driving force for getting these kids over the hump possibly this year?
Well, one of the things that, we've been fortunate with at Grady High School is continuity. Me as a head coach, I've been there for such a long time. We've had the principal that's been there for over 20 years. We've had the AD that we just changed we had an AD for 20-some years. And it's just a program. We try to be consistent in what we do, and we try not to change a whole lot, and what our kids do is they come up in our program, and they just fill in as needed.
Coach Ronnie Millen, Henry W. Grady High School. Thank you. Next up, we'll have the host school, Benjamin Elijah Mays High School, headed up by Coach Corey Jarvis.
Pretty much like everyone else, I want to thank APS Athletic Department for putting this together and also selecting Benjamin Mays to be the host. What I decided to do today was bring up our seniors, a little different than what some people have chosen to do. I've chosen because they have represented this program for 3 and 4 years. And what you got right now is on the end, number 8, Jalen Dorsey, plays free safety and corner. Number 58, Gregory Lampkin, plays guard. Actually, he's number 38, but he has on number 41 today. Nick Banks plays slot receiver and long snapper. Quentin Ratliff, number 87 right here, who plays tight end and with outside linebacker. Number 55, new guy on this team, Idris Payne, D-line. Number 5, Roger Tyler, plays running back and linebacker. Number 74 in the back right here, Felton Smith, plays defensive line. Right here, number 92, Brandon Bradley, better known as Cheese. I was about to call him Cheese, I'm sorry. Plays D-line for us. Number 26, Henry Witherspoon, plays strong safety and wide receiver. Rodriguez Dalton, he's actually number 36, has on 35, but he's number 36. He plays running back. And behind me is Cameron Britton, number 72, who plays center and guard for us. The outlook for our program, one thing that I've always taught was taught that you shoot for what you want. And what you want is, in our group, is a region championship. The second thing is a state championship. And we always talked about the third thing, but the third thing is having an undefeated season. That's our goals for every year, no matter what we got coming back, no matter who's left, no matter who's there. It doesn't matter how many returning starters we have. We just know that we want to have those 3 goals, and that's what the goals we're trying to achieve. And with these young men right here and the young men that's probably heading in the weight room in about 30 minutes, that's what our ultimate goal is, to win a region championship and win a state championship.
Coach Jarvis, first of all, welcome home. You're an APS product yourself. Welcome home.
Thank you.
Secondly, you come to us from what I call the SEC of 6A football. Now you come down to the SEC of 5A football. For those of you that don't know, he plays in arguably one of the toughest regions in the state of Georgia. The Tuckers, the Stevensons, the Miller Groves, the Southwest DeKalb, the MLK. How do you prepare your kids day in and day out for those type of contests on a Friday or a Saturday night?
Well, the first thing is, we talked about when I first got here, learning how to finish. Because if you go back and look at the past year, we were 5-5, and I think we lost 5 ball games by a total of 17 points. And the region champ, who was ML King, my old school, we were up, I believe. I'm trying to remember by the film. We were up, and we ended up losing less than, I think, by 6 points. So our guys know right now that we were in the ball games in every game that we lost, and the next thing was that we need to learn how to finish. And therefore, our kids have been doing some little extra stuff to try to learn how to finish, and I think that's prepared them for the season.
Excellent. Coach Jarvis, Benjamin E. Mays High School. Next up is our newest acquisition to the coaching family here in Atlanta Public Schools, Coach Kevin Hill and the South Atlanta Hornets.
Good evening, everybody. Like everybody said, thanks to Mr. Jules and Atlanta Public Schools for putting this on for the upcoming season. As you say, I'm a newcomer to APS. As far as I've been in here in Georgia for about 4 years now, and I was given the position of head coach at South Atlanta on May 15th. All right. Since then, we've been able to. It was a really late start. For us to get in there, we got out of school maybe a week and a half afterwards. So I had to scramble to try to get all the kids in and get the numbers and get the off-season set up. So we started our off-season on June 3rd, and since then we started out about 14 kids coming, and we're up to about 40 kids now that's been coming on a regular basis, working out. So the numbers have increased. The off-season program has been going pretty good with the kids. A lot of them have increased their strength. We had several kids who have really bought into the program overall, and that it showed on the film. It showed on in the weight room as well as on the field. With me, I brought 3 of my seniors. We're a very young team. We only have 5 seniors. I brought 3 of them with me. First one is Kerry Joyner, number 42. The next, he's going to be our Mike linebacker. We have Keith Williams, who's our cornerback. Keith played outside linebacker, which is last year we ran a 3-5 defense. He played what we call the dog position. And we have Isaiah Garner, who is our defensive end as outside linebacker. These guys were selected by the coaches, not only the players but the coaches also, because from day one these kids have been in the weight room. They've been with the program from day one. Last year's season finished 4-6, and it was some tight games last year. There were some games that, looking on film, they should have been some games that they probably should have. The team was really in position to be better than 4-6. So our expectation this year, the things we're putting in place is just, our motto is submit to the process, and that's what we're doing this year as far as building up this program to where we can be competitive, where we can win the games we need to win. All right, and our goal is to go to the playoffs this year, win a region, and make it to the playoffs. All right, so we've set up some achievable goals this year. All right.
Coach, you mentioned that you took the job on May 15th.
Yes.
And which we know that put you a little bit behind the 8 ball, but it seems like you've been busy and hard at work. How's the attitude of the kids been since the transition from May 15th until now?
The attitude has been outstanding. The first thing, a little bit of background of what happened. I got a job late because the previous 2 hires decided that they didn't want the position. So all these kids, the first time I came in, the first thing they mentioned was, "Are you going to be here with us?" That's all the kids just wanted. They just wanted someone that was going to be there with them. That's all they really cared about, is somebody that was going to stay there with them. So that was their main concern. But their attitude has been great. I mean, they stay in constant contact with myself, the coaches, and each other, and they push each other every day. So the attitude has been great.
Awesome. Best of luck to you this season. Coach Hill, South Atlanta. Next up, we have Daniel McLaughlin, Therrell High School, headed up by Dominique Calloway.
Good evening. Like I say, I'm Dominique Calloway, and I recently took the job a couple of weeks ago, so I'm still trying to learn my guys. But me and my staff and I, we're playing catch up. Like we say, we try and learn our players, what their strengths are, the best position to put them in, and so forth. But the guys I brought with me, guys, have done a great job of buying into the program. I'd like to introduce them. First, I have number 55. See right now, Kendall Olsby, O-line, D-line. I mean, she's probably been a vocal leader for us. Number 1, Christian Williams, real slash guy can play every position in the backfield on defense and the offensive side. Number 2, Jerome Bixby. Jerome will probably play receiver, linebacker, DB for us. Number 15, call him Bullethead, but I won't call him Bullethead, but Datavius Patterson. Datavius is a junior. He played tight end and D-line for us. And last we have Dexter Brown, which would be an O-line and D-line. 2 things we've been working on since we got in is try to fix our attitude and our work ethic. And we feel as a staff, regardless of talent level, those 2 things we can apply to every player. So we're behind the 8 ball a little bit, but we're going to do the best we can and try to turn this thing around.
Coach, you walk into a unique situation, new administration, you're new to the program. How do you get the kids to buy into your vision with the first game being almost less than a month away?
Well, what we try to do is be there on time and show them football. I mean, we care about them first as individuals, and you know, they've been showing up, and we've been pushing them. It's not going to be easy, we know that, and we just try to explain we come from a winning program, so they buy into it that way, knowing that if they listen to us and follow us, they can get the same results.
Excellent. Coach Dominique Callaway, DM Therrell High School. And last but most certainly not least, Coach Rodney Hackney in the Booker Taliaferro Washington High School Bulldogs.
Hey, good evening. Guess I'll follow suit. I want to thank the athletic department, Mr. Biggs, Mr. Jewell, Ms. Williams for putting another great event on. This is my 3rd year and the 3rd year of this media day, and I'm just noticing how hard it is to coach in the inner city. Atlanta Public Schools has definitely been known for some of the great talent like Jamal Lewis and other guys that came in this program. But I want to just give it up for the coaches here. Players, we give it up for your coaches for this year, just coming out coaching. It is a very, very tough job, I must admit. It's not, we have so many obstacles that we go through on a daily basis. I tell a lot of people they can't do this job. And I think I always joke about Jeff Herring at Camden County. He couldn't come and coach at Washington High School. Not one day. He wouldn't last. But one thing about it, Booker T. Washington, when I took over, I was like Coach Cofield. I thought I was coming to take over the Brandon Smiths and Rashad Jones, but none of those guys were there when I took over. And not saying these guys can't live up to their potential, but they weren't there. I have noticed that students, a couple of schools, I think maybe Maynard Jackson, North Atlanta, and Grady, we pretty much provided some talent to all these schools out here. We've had transfers to go to all different schools in Atlanta. So Booker T. Washington has been known to be also a feeder school to some other schools here. But I won't go too far in that. But anyway, but these guys behind me, man, without giving them their due respect, they have a lot of resilience. I mean, I just want to say that, and I'm very pleased to coach these guys. And they're a representation of our team. It's a lot of good players on our team, and a lot of heart. One thing I said about these guys, they don't blink. And the reason I say they don't blink, whatever goes on, they show up and they come to practice every day and they don't blink. They don't worry about who left, who's coming, who we have to play, that type of thing. One of my players asked me, we kept hearing saying SEC of the high school, I guess that was North Atlanta's region. I said SEC. One of my players said, Coach, what region we in? And I said, we probably in the Pac-10 or the MEAC or the SIAC, I guess, because the talent we have is not to the level. I hope so, but I just kept hearing SEC, so I said, oh no. But anyway, we better give it to Pac-10. We definitely have a lot of competition with Grady and Carver and Therrell and those guys that's in our region, and also the other schools outside. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to talk about these guys behind me because that's what we're here for. To my left, Christian Avery. He's an O-line guard. He plays all the stuff, can play all center, very versatile tackle. His dad coaches O-line as well. He's been in the county for years as well. But Christian Avery's our O-line, D-line, guard and tackle as well. Next, I have DeMarcus Walker. They call him Debo. I'm one of those saying like y'all didn't know. I don't remember his nickname, but I always asked his dad, so why y'all call him Debo? He said he used to take people candy when he was little, like Debo from Friday. Anyway, he's a park legend. For those that don't know, the Georgia Rattlers, he won the Frank Ski Bowl. I remind him every day, this is not the park, and we don't play for the Frank Ski Bowl. But he's been working hard every day. He's going to be our quarterback, and he's putting a lot of work, and he definitely comes to practice every day ready to compete, and I enjoy that coaching by him. Last but not least is DeMarco Davis. DeMarco's received a scholarship offer from Western Carolina. He's on our shutdown corners. DeMarco's our shutdown corner. He has the most experience. This is his third year starting at defensive back. He's also going to be Debo's backup. If Debo don't step it up, he'll come in and play quarterback too. But he's an all-around good kid, and we just have great kids at Washington High School, and it's just a great privilege to coach these guys and be there every day. Definitely want to give a shout-out to our principals, Dr. Samuel Scavella, who's over athletics, Dr. Nichols, and also Dr. Rutledge, that's at Booker T. Washington High School. So we're just thankful to be there and thankful those guys gave me the opportunity.
Coach, I watched you guys last year while you make light of your region, but I watched you guys last year open up against a formidable 6A opponent in Tri-Cities High School, who had probably arguably the biggest, next to Carver, the biggest offensive line in the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
And I watched you manhandle those guys. I also watched you guys climb the polls up to number 5 in the state. You guys did a tremendous job last year. You showed a lot of resilience. How do we come back and we duplicate that again this year?
Wow, great question. First and foremost, one of the reasons I don't buy into 707 is because of a game like Tri-Cities. We played Tri-Cities at Lakewood Stadium, and they beat us to death. And our kids were scared. We were scared. I was scared. Everybody was scared. Fans were scared. We showed up, and we saw those Giants walk out. But I told them we're going to run them sideline to sideline and just make them run. Once they get tired, then we'll start playing football. We got them good and tired. Our kids bought into the program, bought into the game plan, and they stepped it up against Tri-Cities. That was a great game, and that set our season. And that definitely pushed us, and I don't know if we were really deserving of that ranking, but we definitely, work hard and do what we're supposed to do, the little things. But to live up to that, it's a blessing and a curse sometimes, because now we know what our standard is. We lost in the first round playoffs to the state runner-up, Regional High School, and our kids got a chance to see what's out 285. And one of the things that we did, one of the 707s that we did go to that I thought was good was to get us outside 285, which was Kennesaw State University tournament we played in. I think it was good for our kids to see teams outside of 285. I always tell them, because if you're going to win a state championship, you have to beat the teams outside 285. So that's our goal. That's what we're looking forward to, and that's our challenge.
Thank you, Coach. Booker T. Washington High School. Let's give all of our schools a round of applause today. Excellent job. As Jeff Beggs, the Director of Athletics, comes up to bring our closing, let me just make a couple of announcements. Number one, I would like to announce this year our annual cheer competition will be at South Atlanta High School on Saturday, October 26, 2013. The high school division will start at 9. The middle school division will start at 3 o'clock. Also, our APS Dome coming is slated this year for Saturday, October 19th at the Georgia Dome. We'll start off at 11 o'clock with our middle school championship. 2 o'clock, we'll have Maynard Jackson versus Douglas. 5 o'clock, we'll have DM Therrell High School versus Booker T. Washington. And our nightcap at 8 o'clock will feature Henry W. Grady High School versus the Banneker Trojans. At this time, I'd like to turn the program over to Jeff Beggs.
Thank you, Mr. Jewell. How many of you are seniors? Raise your hand. This season will be one that you'll never forget. It's one you'll always remember. You'll remember every game. You remember every play. You remember your successes. You remember the things that didn't go the way you wanted them to go. Who has the chance to make this season the most memorable that you've had to this point? You do. I've coached for over 20 years. I've been an athletic administrator for almost 20 years. One thing that I learned is that people have a tendency to blame other people. It's his fault. With football being a team game, you got 11 people working. He missed his block. He missed his tackle. You take responsibility for yourself. When you do that, and then you get 11 people doing that, the goals that were talked about by our coaches today are reached. It's amazing what you can do. I'm from Atlanta. I was fortunate enough to win a state championship at the high school level. I was fortunate enough to win a conference championship at the college level. I've coached state champions. I know what it takes. And what I see today, what I hear today from our coaches, what I've watched them do. I've come out and watched y'all practice. Y'all didn't know I was there. And I've watched you work. You got the work ethic. You have tremendous coaches. I took this job 3 years ago blind. I walked in with a clean slate. And I saw that we had to get better to be successful. Now, what is your definition of success? Your definition may be different than my definition. What we're hoping is for everybody that raised their hand, when we have our signing day in February, you're all back here and you're signing a scholarship. And other seniors on your team are signing a scholarship. That's what we want. We have so many programs in place to help you be successful. You need to take advantage of them. You need to listen to your coaches. You need to listen to your teachers. You need to be, Jamal said this, the leader in your school. Because people look up to you. When you walk down the hall with that jersey on, they know who you are. They're going to watch you. Whether you like it or not, that burden's on your shoulder. When I was your age, it was hard for me to accept. But I had to learn to accept it because my coaches put that responsibility on my shoulders. You got to be a leader. I was a team captain. You got to be a leader and not a follower. Again, something Jamal said. Be the leader in your school. You see somebody doing something they shouldn't do, fix it. Make it right. I'm amazed to hear the SAT scores. I'm amazed to hear the number of offers already. We have unbelievable talent. But most importantly, we have tremendous people who are smart young men, smart young ladies. We have coaches who care about kids. I was very fortunate. My high school coaches and my college coaches were not the kind of coaches that would cuss you or grab you by the face mask. They treated you like an adult. Now, they pushed us. There were times we crawled off the practice field. Literally. I got dirtier crawling off the practice field than I did in practice sometimes. But from that I learned, and it shaped and molded my philosophy of how we run this athletic program now, and how these coaches coach, and how our staff works. You have the ability to do that. Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't accomplish what you want to accomplish. Ever. Because as soon as you listen to them, as soon as you listen to that voice on the street, as soon as you listen to somebody who hadn't put the work in that you've put in, and they reach out and they want to grab you because you're up here and your name's all over the school because you've had success on the field, and you listen to them, all that work, all that time, all that effort goes right down the tubes. Be willing to say no with conviction. I'm going to do what's right. When we first came here 3 years ago, Mr. Jewell can tell you, our motto is real simple. We're here to help our coaches and our kids be successful. Coach Miller, is that not right? You remember hearing that? Coach Walker, you remember hearing that? other coaches that were here, Coach Williams, you remember hearing that? That's our job. And we work very hard every day. I'm going to leave you with this. Bear Bryant. Everybody heard of Bear Bryant? Coach at Alabama. I got recruited by Bear Bryant. I sat in his office. I'm going to tell you a little story. His desk used to sit on a pedestal that was a foot higher than the chair in his office that you would sit in. And I asked somebody one time, I said, why is his desk up on a pedestal? Up on a platform. He said, because he wanted everybody to look up to him. But Bear Bryant once said, he said, you're either hot or you're cold. If you're lukewarm, we don't want you. We want you to be hot. We don't want you to be cold. We don't want you to be lukewarm. We want your success to be your number one goal. That's as a son. That's as a friend. That's as a student. And that's as a player. In that order. That's where you need to be. And you can do that. You can do that. You can accomplish that. Look inside your heart. Think about it. Can I do that? Absolutely, I can do that. I can stand up. I can do that. And you'll become what you want to become. Coach I used to work with that won 5 state championships told me one time, he said the role of coach is to get people to do what they really don't want to do in order so they can become what they want to become. What's your goal? What is your goal? Is your goal to get out of the house and go to college? Is your goal just to graduate? Whatever your goal is, work as hard as you can to reach that goal. And when you reach that goal, what you'll learn, and I learned this the hard way, you want more. You want to accomplish more. You want to do more. That's when you know that you're being successful. So a minute ago I asked you, what's your definition of success? That's the definition of success. You're either hot or you're cold. I think everybody in this room is pretty hot, the way our coaches talk. We want you to be successful. I'm very excited that Mays High School allowed us to come here. Please thank Mr. Smith, Coach Harrigan, for allowing us to come here. Our Board of Education and our administration who supports us in our values and our mission of making athletics the very best that it can be in the state of Georgia. There's absolutely no reason that the city of Atlanta can't dominate. None whatsoever. You can give me a reason, I can give you 5 why you're wrong. I'm old enough to be able to say this. 40 years ago, I remember when the city of Atlanta was the benchmark. And then it kind of lost its luster. Now it's back. And it's back because of you. It's back because you got good coaches who care about you. They're willing to work with you. They're willing to put in long hours to prepare for that 2 hours or whatever for practice. To prepare you for your games. It's back because we care enough to give you what you deserve. And that's the very best we got. Just like your coaches give you the very best they got. Guys, we appreciate it. This has been a great day for Atlanta Public Schools football. Good luck to you this year. We wish you all the best. You grab that teammate when they can't make that last 40-yard dash, and you bring them along with you. You grab that teammate when they can't do that last rep, Anybody been to the University of Alabama and visited? Did you look up on the ceiling? Up on the ceiling, underneath the benches, there's a sign that says, one more rep. You grab your teammate along, get them to do that one more rep. Because that one rep can make a difference. We appreciate you. We care about you. You're going to see us at all your games. Sometimes we'll travel with teams. We'll go wherever you are to see you play. We wish you all the best of luck. We're here for you and for you to be successful. Thank you very much for coming today. Probably each team needs to see their head coach for instructions as they leave. Thank you very much.
My name is Jamal Lewis, a product of the Atlanta Public School System, went to Douglas High School, got a scholarship to the University of Tennessee, and also played 10 years in NFL for the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns.
Jamal, today, tell us why you came down to share your experience with the kids and what you hope they got from it.
Basically because I'm a product of APS and I know some of the struggles that a lot of these kids go through on and off the field and trying to get the exposure and trying to get that extra work and trying to actually accomplish their dreams and everything that they want to actually accomplish. And when Jewel called me and wanted me to come speak to him, I've been through it, been there, done that, so I know a lot of these things. I can relate to a lot of things that they're going through and that they will go through in the future. So, I always want to give back to these kids, and I feel like with my experiences, it's just a great way to basically come and talk and give back to them through my experiences, because I've been where they are and been where they're actually going.
All right, so you did 10 years in the NFL. Most of these guys hope that they go to the NFL, but most won't. What's your one piece of advice you would give them about being a success on and off the field?
Mainly your character takes you as far as you want to go. So you put forth the effort and everything on the field, the work ethic and everything else, but at the same time, like I said, football is a means to the end. So use those skills, use those tendencies and everything that you've learned and take it to the business world, because you can basically accomplish anything you want to accomplish.
I'm Quincy Bentley. I go to Carver High School. I play strong safety, linebacker, and tailback. And I'm looking forward to this season. Well, being a team captain, you have to be mindful of everything that you do, because there's always someone watching. You got people that are looking up to you. You got coaches that are looking for you to fulfill your responsibilities. So you can't slack off at 1 minute, even when you're feeling weak. You got to be strong for the people who are around you and for yourself. So after I finish APS, I plan to go to college and study sports medicine, because I have a deep passion for sports and I want to stay in that field, but I also want to become a doctor. So that's why I want to blend the two and become a sports doctor when I grow up.